Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic University podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Canton III, and we are continuing our coverage of the Disney Plus series, Daredevil Born Again, Episode 8, the penultimate episode, a.k.a. we got a lot of shit going on and a lot to cover, so very excited to get into this. And also, we could get into patreon.com/MCUniversityPod. We could get our bonus content, such as the wrestling mailbag that I did this past week. Pre-WrestleMania, answer your wonderful listener questions as always. So with that back catalog of all the episodes for $3 plus the Discord, all of those things. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And with all of those good things, and with that being said, let me introduce the super producer Jake Christie. Jake, how are you?
I'm happy to be talking to y'all about Daredevil.
Wonderful. And we got a couple of guests. First, as always, our pal, who we leave the key under the mat, and he always comes and gets it and comes back. Our guy, Rod, a.k.a. the black guy who tips. Rod, welcome back. How you doing, sir?
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I'm ready to talk about the devil of Hell's Kitchen.
Yes. Well, absolutely. And we have another guest, friend of the show, who I personally like to call the Agent of Chaos. His name is Teej. Teej, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm excited to talk about Daredevil. I came on, expecting to really bash this show, and I'm sure that I will do that. But I kind of enjoyed this episode, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Now, just for the listeners who don't see that you don't have video up, you are not recording in a library, correct?
No, I'm recording from my office. I thought recording a podcast at work is one thing, but recording a podcast with video at my job is another thing. So that's
No, I understand. I just want to make it clear why you're whispering so much, because it definitely will not make sense.
Got it. No, I'm not in a library. No.
We are getting Luther Teej.
Last time I was on here, I think I even said, like, I can't imagine Teej with a job, and now look at this shit. It's happening in front of my face. I can't believe this. You got a work voice and everything.
Crazy, man. I'm slaving.
Oh my goodness, Teej. I want to lead off with you, sir, because before this previous episode, it seemed like you were not a big fan of the proceedings of this show. So let me get your general thoughts on what you've seen so far, so I can try and figure out what's going on with these takes of yours.
My take is basically, look how they massacred my boy. This shit has been so fucking boring. And I understand. Look, I know that this is a mishmash of the first version of this show, which was a procedural and which was absolutely fucking terrible. And then the new sheen on top when they brought in the new people. I get it. But that's not my business. And I don't care about the bottom line of the Disney Corporation. This has been an absolutely terrible episode of television. And I hold Daredevil in the highest esteem. I love Daredevil. He is one of my favorite superheroes. That Netflix show is my guiding force of comic book TV shows. Like, it is the top level of what you can reach. And so the first episode was fine. I was fine. But the interim 5 or 6 episodes where we're just randomly basically doing a procedural, but like, I don't know who told them, like, it would be a great idea if we brought back Daredevil, but we took out the Daredevil and we also got rid of Karen and Foggy. Like, that's not real hoops. I love Karen and Foggy. I love Daredevil. And instead, I'm watching Matt Murdock, like, be at work, but he's also not sulking around as much as he should be because, like, his best friend just died, but he doesn't know that. And when he's filming all those scenes inside the office, we see Cherry, but Cherry only exists quite literally when he's talking to Matt. So, like, Cherry is like his conscience or something. Like, I have really hated, like, we're randomly in the bank and we see Kamala's dad, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like Kamala's dad. And then I'm like, what is the point of this episode? Why do I care that Daredevil is in a bank robbery, but he's not using his powers to, like, stop a bank robbery? Like, I've really, really hated that nobody's spinning for White Tiger. White Tiger is dead. We don't mention him for 3 episodes. Nobody's spinning for that man. Nobody's avenging that man. His niece is like 6 years old. She's the only one who cares about White Tiger. They kill him. That's a shocking moment. It doesn't fucking matter at all to the plot of the show. Whoever made the first version of the show will burn in hell. I have really, really, really hated this series of TV. When I pressed play on episode 8 last night, I had no excitement whatsoever. I stopped watching The Pit, which is the best show on TV, to fucking
is.
watch another awful episode of
yeah,
Daredevil, and I
fair point.
expected
It is.
to be mad about it. But I actually had a good time watching Daredevil because it was not easy to turn off The Pit to go to fucking Daredevil. I was not looking forward to that at all.
Oh man! One shout out to the Pit. It's
Yeah.
an excellent TV show. Just
Yeah, it's
excellent.
great.
It's tremendous. So right on that. B, I totally get your point as far as the Karen and Foggy stuff is concerned. There's a lot of people who felt similarly to you, and have kind of expressed as such throughout the season. I will just say to counter, I do think the strongest element of kind of this slower build so far, even with the stitching together of this show, I would say the character work of Matt Murdock has just been, I mean, quite honestly, especially these last couple of episodes, has been as A plus as I could have ever expected from this show. And I think they've even found some kind of some new corners to kind of attack his psyche. And the same with Wilson Fisk. I think obviously you eliminate the Daredevil portion of it for the most part, and I think to some folks, including yourself, that may be that's a tough thing to swallow. But I do think they now have with the issues that this show went through in its first season, I do think they have a springboard now to really get into the stuff that they want to get into. And I think you will have your Daredevil back by completely by next season. I think
I
everything
really
will
agree
be
with
okay.
that. I think
Yeah.
next season is going to be phenomenal. It'll be one vision. I also want to point out that the son of uh, Gandolfini, like
Yes.
a part of my frustration is that whatever he's doing, like whatever they are eliciting from him, I just think that his scenes are electric. But he didn't really have a role. Like there was really nothing for him to do. Same thing with the BB character. Like that's a really interesting character, and instead we're like using her to do these interstitials that are meaningless and mean nothing to the plot of the show. I like the fact that now we've elevated his role in episode 8. We've also elevated the role of the BB character because that stuff is good. Like there's a good foundation there for us to explore something really cool about that. But it was kind of like every time they were on screen, it just made me pissed off that we didn't get more of them. And I think Gandolfini's kid, like I want to see him in other series. I want to see
Yeah,
him in an episode of
he's
The Pit.
cooking.
I want
He's
to see
really
him
special.
like be a doctor on The Pit. Like that guy is doing something really good with his performance, and I just he was basically the highlight of the show. I will also agree that the character work we're doing with Murdoch and especially with Fisk, I've really enjoyed. I really had a big issue with not caring about Matt's love interest or Fisk's love interest, like up until episode 8, where we kind of fleshed out the dynamic between those two more. But I like when they were sitting in therapy, it's like being in a therapy session with a couple who's on the outs should be compelling TV. And I just could not care about Victoria's storyline at all. I could not care about Heather's storyline at all. But the way that they've paid it off in episode 8, I will say, okay, maybe like I wouldn't say the journey was worth it, but I like where we ended up with the tension between those two characters and the men who we care about in this show. I like the way we netted it out.
Teej, I gotta tell you, how dare you say Victoria when her
Yeah.
name is Vanessa? God damn it.
Sorry, Vanessa. My
Vanessa.
bad. That just shows you
Vanessa.
how much I cared about
Vanessa.
that character.
But the
Like,
thing
I
is,
did not
but
care.
she was in the original Daredevil show, and like the thing
She's
is,
great.
the thing about it too is that like it was a meme on this show that Jerome would say Vanessa in the Wilson Fisk voice. So clearly, it's a big deal what her name is. Vanessa. But no, I will
Yeah.
say, I think that this episode was masterful television
Mm-hmm.
in that knowing the production process, the fact that they basically put every single thread together in the same place is like a scene I always go back to in a movie that is problematic in a lot of ways, but I think this is one of the best like scenes in the 2000s is the climactic scene of the film Crazy Stupid Love, where all of the threads come together. I don't know if ever who's seen it,
Yes,
but
yes.
where like all these disparate threads come together, like oh my god, this is all happening in the same scene. I think that's like the gold standard of that for me. And this, the fact that they managed to bring all this together, that they had all of this stuff together, I think that I agree that the weak spots of the show, I think, are ironed out in some ways when it is in proximity with the stuff that's strong. Like, I feel like some of the Heather stuff hasn't been that strong, but when it's in the same scene as the, Wilson Matt stuff and the Vanessa, like, then it's like, oh, this is all, it's of a
I
piece
agree.
now. I thought that the choice to, like, make it, the choice to have it all dovetail now, I think, is like such a good way of reconciling all the crazy threads.
Rod, I want to ask you, what stood out to you watching this episode the most?
Yeah, very similar to Jake. The way that they tied everything together is like the third act of How to Be a Player. And that everybody was showing up to the same party with different
Thank you for
motivations.
translating for the other half of America.
Yeah.
I was
Shout
going
out
to
to
say,
Bill
why did I
Butterman.
get married? So I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah, I
That's
got
another
you.
one.
I
Good
got
call.
you. But yeah, bringing everyone to the same party with different motivations that all get into the protagonist's way. Like every single person is just like there to make Matt's life fucking insane. I enjoyed that. I actually thought they paid off. When I watch these series, I have a more holistic approach, meaning that I don't really judge much on the way to the finale. Like once we get to the finale, I retroactively judge shit, right? So because you can, that's what writing is. It's a magic trick. Like make me feel frustrated, and in episode 9, it's like, oh, and here's your frustration paying off, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's what she was doing. So I feel like they have a lot of threads intact to have a finale that pays off in a way that makes you go, oh, that's why we went through all this bullshit or whatever you felt. And so yeah, anyway, I enjoyed, Bullseye getting out. I enjoyed Heather being like just a thorn in Matt's side, but completely right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he's acting horrible.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's one of my
terrible.
favorite
He's
tropes in
100%
TV.
right.
The woman that everyone hates who's just fucking right. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? It's Breaking
Skylar
Bad.
White
Where,
is like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
Skylar White is so annoying, but also she's incredibly right. Like,
Yeah, the thing about
Yes.
Skylar
He is
is,
right.
remember, I'm being, my age had put me in the unfortunate position where I watched Breaking Bad when I was 15, and I definitely, when I became an adult and I deleted old bad tweets, a lot of them were bad things about Skylar White, because I'm like, oh, Jake, why would you say so many mean things about this woman? She has an infant in her house, and her husband is dealing drugs with the Mexican cartels. She is absolutely right to be mad at him.
I watched Breaking Bad as a binge right before the finale dropped. I
Mhm.
literally watched the last episode,
Yeah.
the penultimate episode, the day before the
Mhm.
finale. That's how I caught up, and
Mhm.
I live tweeted it at the time. And the amount of people who were just like, damn, man, you must love Skylar White. I was just like, she's fucking right. The faster you watch it, the more she's right. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, motherfucker, you want to stop doing a high school teacher, not take your chemotherapy and sell drugs? Bitch, fuck you. And they're like, I can't
And-
believe
and-
she
and-
almost cheated. Like, suck
And to
my
go
dick.
to Heather, it's like, Heather does not know that she is in the
Right.
middle of Daredevil. She doesn't know that
Right.
she's like,
No.
my boyfriend, who previously was really supportive and nice, is distant. He's like clearly on edge about something. He's being defensive for no reason. And these high profile clients that invited me, the mayor invited me to this
Yes.
black tie event, and he's being really weird about it.
And I think the
What
characterization of Matt has been so strong. Honestly, no offense to the original series, it's been stronger without Foggy and Karen to bounce off of people that know him intimately and seeing these new people in his life, because his behavior is fucking insane. This man is crazy. He is burning his life
I'm
down
glad
to
you
the
said that.
ground. He started
I'm
with a
glad you
perfectly
said
great
this.
life. You're a blind
Yeah.
lawyer that just takes care of the public, and you're just like, nah, I gotta go get fucked up every night. That's what the mask are calling me. And it made sense when she's like in the shower and he has to like digmatize her, because no woman's gonna stay for that shit. If I come home with bruises all over my body and my wife's like, what happened? And I'm like, damn, you looking good, girl. She's gonna be like, fuck out of here. I love that afterwards she's like, what are you doing, bro? Like this, like even after they fuck, she's still like, no, it's not enough. I like that kind of stuff. So I think it definitely would. There's a better quote unquote version of this show that really pays homage to the first one, I'm sure. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that shit's on the cutting room floor somewhere, because it's just hard to balance all this. And ultimately, what we're probably feeling is this like lack of 4 extra episodes, right? Like it's just it's not 13, it's 9. It's not the
Mhm.
Netflix series. They're not doing a lot of slow character building moments. And my biggest like cutting room floor like things that like really took me for a loop it was mostly Muse. It's not really the
Yeah. Yeah.
other stuff is it's like I'd rather have no Muse or like
Yeah.
3 times more Muse, but
I
this
mean,
was a
I'm
my
strong
voting for
amount.
no Muse.
in the
I'm
same
voting for no Muse.
Yeah.
in this like
Get that shit. That shit stinks, bro.
I mean, the
I
last
was
time I was so
happy.
disappointed by Muse getting cut short is when I saw them at the Tampa Bay Times Forum in 2013, and they only played 13 songs. Anyway, that's a true story. I saw Radiohead the year before, and they played 25 songs, and Muse plays
That
13.
like
Come on.
that happened to you just for this joke. That's how
I,
life is
I'm.
crazy.
I mean, you know what? Now I'm appreciative. I mean, I'm appreciative
Yeah.
anyway. So a band
There
I
was
love in
no
concert. But
point. There
anyway,
was no point for that to ever be relevant in your life unless they made
no.
this series, cut a
Yes.
lot of
hmm
Muse, and then had them die
hmm
too
Yeah.
early, just so you
And
can
I'm
make
like,
this
and they
joke.
played, and like, no disrespect to the album, The Second Law, but they played 5 songs off the new album of the 13. Come on,
Come on,
what are you?
that's how
They
I
Right.
felt when he
introduced
showed
Muse,
up.
and they said there's a serial killer that's been killing people. Oh, how many people has he killed? Nobody has even known it. He killed 60 people. I
Yeah,
almost turned my TV off. I said,
that's too
What
many.
are we doing?"
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's just those numbers just don't like the thing about American serial killers. Is American serial killers just don't reach those numbers. Like the big boys of American serial killing gets in the 30s. It's just hard to kill that many
right.
people.
And
Like you know
everybody,
the
not
Green River
not
Killer only
just
killed like
his
38. And he did it over like 10 years.
everybody, not just his niece, would have been on White Tiger's side, right?
hmm
Because like
Yeah.
if 60 people go missing, and he the only one looking for him, the whole hood finna put on for him. Like, yo, White Tiger is
Yeah.
gone, but instead it's just like his niece and then fucking Wilson
Yeah.
Fisk being like, I'm tired of vigilantes.
Also, it's a big problem that they're doing the storyline. But
Mhm.
New York looks like New York does today. Because, like, yeah, New York in 1989, I'm like, yes, they might not notice that 60 people went missing. But, like,
Yeah.
New York today is, like, really nice.
60,
like,
60 people got cell phones. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too
yeah.
much. It would add up too fast. They got GoFundMe, web pages. Like, it would be on Twitter, some conspiracy. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
Like,
it
there's, like,
wouldn't just
only,
be on
there's,
that fucking 480p camera that BB got.
there's like 20% of the amount of murders there were in 1990 in New York. You just can't do that
Yeah, you
anymore.
can't kill
Anyway,
that many
AC's been
people.
trying to say something forever, and I think we keep doing bits.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
totally no. I totally don't mind. It's great. It's great. I think I wanted to piggyback off of something Rod said about Matt being like a psychotic person. I think that's really kind of like the strongest portion of what the show has been able to do. And this particular episode is no different in terms of the fun thing about the title Born Again is
Mhm.
that in season 3 that felt like their actual attempt at an adaptation. This show, while not attempting to adapt it, it's happening. He's unraveling
Mhm.
completely. Like he's completely losing it throughout this entire season. And this episode was a great example. I think the scene with Heather at the start is just tremendous television because he's doing the thing and he did it with Frank in that scene in episode 4 where he's kind of just like Charlie Cox does this great thing with his facial expressions
Mhm.
where it's like the wince smile, the
Mhm.
smile wincing
Yeah.
thing.
Mm.
That's just like, and he does it again when she's like, "Oh, you don't want to go to this," and then he's like, "Oh, well, we'll talk about it later." And then he does the wince smile thing as he leaves. It's
Yeah.
just really just tremendous. What Cox has been able to do is just added so much tension
Mhm.
to his scenes with everybody that he
Yeah.
talks to because they can tell that he's lying about
Yeah.
something.
And like the thing that because I remember last week I said that Daredevil to him was like an addiction,
Yeah.
and like his behavior in these last 2 episodes. If you are someone in his life, you're like you think he like relapses in some way, right?
Yeah.
Like he's back on like prescription drugs or like as even the stuff with Fisk, it's like paranoia out of nowhere about something,
Right.
like random bruises coming out later. Like he is acting like a drug addict whose life is falling apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that that's not an accident because he
And it's not seen as like a calling or like
no.
it's not it like the way he plays it, even when he has the language that makes it seem like, "Oh, I need to do this for the people." when he starts fighting and he lets out that primal scream, you're
Yeah.
like, that's the demon inside you, bro. That's
Mhm.
not you're not Superman or whatever, where it's just like, I needed to get the cat out the tree. Like, no,
Yeah.
you wanted to beat some ass, and finally you got a good reason.
Yeah, and he's now at the point where he doesn't care about exposing his identity.
No.
Because
Yeah, he wildin'.
Fisk knows, Vanessa knows, and it's like he's going up into that ballroom and he's just trying to expose stuff. Now the reason why he's trying to do that is because we find out, which is a big point, is that it turns out Wilson Fisk was not the one responsible for getting Bullseye on Foggy. It was Vanessa.
That was
Dun,
well
dun,
done. I
dun.
like the way they did that.
Yeah,
And
I've been
yeah.
seeing it for Vanessa as Queen Pen the whole time. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
I felt good. You know, I know the first time I came on here, I was like, he got that man in that basement. He whooping his ass every night. I wasn't able to come back, you know, since that reveal, but I've been like, yeah, I could feel it. And when we watched the other episode live where she set up Buddy to get killed by Buck, my wife's like, oh man, Vanessa's in trouble. I was like, no, Vanessa set that shit up. Vanessa's a fucking G. And they have been consistent with her being a G, and he's never truly like seen that until I feel like this episode. Like when they came out and danced together, that meant more than just we're back together. It's like, I see you. I truly see you got that dog in you. We finna run the town.
Well, I think well, to get to the Wilson stuff, which is so great because you have the Adam scene where after Wilson reveals that, hey, I've been doing this amount of time, I can't let it go, there's nothing I can do about it, and you can see how manic he is, how weak he is, all of these things that you see that Fisk is normally the strong person, but no, in this instance he just like the veil, the vulnerability is all out there for Vanessa to see. So what she does is that is the instance of where Vanessa kind of reveals herself, and this is the same person that we saw in season 3 of this show coming into this one. And I think it's been a streamline the way that they've built her character to this point where she kills Adam, and then all of a sudden all the fighting that they had, all of the issues that they had are all gone. They on the same page. And what it does to Wilson is it's like, hey, anytime when you with your lady and everything is going well and you got good moments and you got good feelings and stuff like that, y'all feel like y'all on the same page. Let me tell you, it adds a little pep in your step. And our boy Willie went to work after this, and in all facets, it was so much fun to watch.
His swag was on
Does the public know that Daredevil was blind? Are they aware that Daredevil was blind?
No, I don't think so.
No,
because I'm starting to think that Heather might have enough information to think that her boyfriend is literally Daredevil or a drug addict. It's only one of two.
I think it's a drug because I guess the thing is that like that because she saw Daredevil at work, and there's no way, unless you knew, to think that a guy who's that good at fighting is blind. Like, I just don't think you'd ever think that.
He has the perfect cover. Cause like it's
I think
Stevie
it's like
Wonder, right? Like we all have the conspiracy that Stevie can see, but none of us are ever gonna step to Stevie in a real way. We're not gonna like throw a basketball at him in public. Cause we know that if he don't catch that bitch, we're gonna be like, he got me. Cause I know he saw the basketball, but he's so good. He let it hit him in the face.
You could look crazy as the person who hits Stevie Wonder with the
Yeah, like she's stuck, bro. Even if she starts suspecting it, she gotta feel like she the crazy one. Like, nah, that don't even make sense, Heather.
Like, if I saw someone doing like a bunch of complex ninja moves to fight a person in like an office close quarters, and use like a grappling hook or whatever, like pull them back, I'd be like, okay, so we know for sure that they have all their senses. Like, I definitely would not think that they're blind.
Yeah,
he's slipping up though. Like there have been times in that apartment where he's not using his cane to walk around.
Oh, for sure.
I just think that he's slipping up. Man.
Oh,
it happened at Josie's. Josie goes like, yo, he just left without his cane.
Cherry said, I didn't notice. Because Cherry know. He was on that roof. He like, yeah, just don't even ask, girl. It ain't worth it.
He definitely knew what time it was there. And so to kind of go to, I think there's a lot of interesting things in this episode, but I do think the thing that was the tonal shift and changed the tenor of this series heading into the end of the season is the return of Wilson Bethel's Bullseye. And the kind of intensity and the psychosis of him was pretty cool to see on display. The scene that he has with Matt, that back and forth between them, we get a fuck you out of Matt, which was like, oh, okay. And you totally understand. You totally understand. It's personal between them. And on top of that, the man hurt somebody with a goddamn tooth.
Dog.
That's wild.
He one of them ones, dog. He one of them ones, bro. You can't never put nothing past this motherfucker. Give him a paperclip, he can kill a whole prison full of people, dude. Like low key, he got the most mundane, but the scariest fucking superpower.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you shouldn't be scared of Gen Pop. Like you can kill everybody in here with random items you can find around the prison. You shouldn't be scared of Gen Pop, bro.
Teej, I legitimately did not feel he was scared of Gen Pop. Like when they put him in there, I was like, oh, so you putting him in there with the forks and the fucking trays.
Yeah, they should be worried about him.
He was better off in that motherfucking cell with like no bed sheets or whatever to kill people. Like this is just a room full of shit to kill people with.
Oh man, Teej, what do you think of seeing Bullseye again?
I was glad that we brought him back. I thought that was a part of the first episode that was effective, and like as long as we got Muse off the screen and we're not dealing with the Muse of it all, I was like, we can literally deal with anyone. I know that he's probably not going to have an interaction with Fisk because he meets with Fisk. Remember in the first episode, and that scene was amazing. And I knew that they probably weren't going to meet again because I knew that the middle episodes were all the old stuff for the most part. So I like the fact that we brought Bullseye back. I really had an issue with what Matt does, the choice he makes at the end of this episode. I actually don't think that makes any sense. And I think maybe this adds to our theory that he's legitimately unhinged and mentally unwell. Because how is Hell's Kitchen safer with you being down for some time because you took a bullet? Meanwhile, Fisk is healthy and out running the city and also running like not only as a politician but also as an underboss. Like it just feels weird that Matt would make that decision to save Fisk's life. I know that we're doing that for dramatic effect, but like that decision actually makes no sense whatsoever.
Because that's what the good men do.
Yeah,
I also think he's not making a decision. We're talking about the speed of a bullet. So like I don't think that if he had the thought wherewithal to think it through. I think the idea of the moment is that as angry as he is at Fisk and as much rage as he feels, the underlying part of him that doesn't kill people, that believes in all that nonsense, overpowers everything else in that moment. I think that that's the point they're trying to make.
And also he knows it wasn't Fisk who killed Foggy, it was Vanessa.
Right.
So that rage is pointed elsewhere. So it's like, I mean, yeah, I know that Fisk is this, but I mean, it's the same hero complex that all of these superheroes have. Like, if you could eliminate Lex Luthor, why don't you eliminate Lex Luthor? Superman doesn't. He doesn't ever do that.
It's my
Batman
favorite
and
thing
Joker.
about Spider-Man, like that he make his life worse because like some of my favorite story arcs are the ones where the villains turn on each other and he finds himself protecting his fucking nemesis from some other motherfucker. And I'm like, that's why you don't be too good, because it costs something to be good. Like, some of the biggest choices the heroes like this make are the ones where they're like, I'm not gonna protect you or whatever, but ultimately they always come through in the end. But it was. I thought Bullseye was such a additive part, and that's why this episode is good to me. Is like Muse to me is not a compelling villain, and it was it felt like we were being fast forwarded in the Muse's track. Like we would pop up and it'd be like, he's been doing a lot of shit off screen, and like here's some exposition, and then it's like, oh, okay, so then we're gonna follow him for a while. I was like, no, that was it. We'll see you in 3 episodes. Oh man, you ain't gonna believe what he been doing. It's like, so like Bullseye.
Yeah, he was a plot device.
Right. Whereas Bullseye being in jail, that feels very like, yeah, we wouldn't have been keeping up with. There's nothing for him to do in jail but get out of jail. So when he pops back on, it's just, I love the tone of the episode and I love the color scheme, because we've been doing this red thing with Matt, we've been doing this white thing with Wilson, and then bam, blue. We get the blue shots every time they show Bullseye. about to get active. And I love that third element, just color wise. And of course we know he's a real threat. This ain't a motherfucker that just took Taekwondo when he was 15 or whatever the fuck Muse's backstory was. The motherfucker went to the YMCA, took like a few lessons, and was like, I can hang with Daredevil. That never made sense. But Bullseye is a motherfucker we know can hang with Daredevil and fuck everyone in the room up. So yeah, I'm totally into him being back.
Yeah, and I think now that you have this kind of same setup that you had at the end of season 3, where Bullseye just hates Fisk and wants to eliminate him himself, and Daredevil's gonna have to get in the middle of it. We still got the anti-vigilante task force out there. We still
Yeah,
got Frank Castle out there.
that's what I want to see.
So that I feel like that's where we're headed for this final episode. And quite frankly, I feel like this, if I had to just make the simplest prediction I can make for the end of the season is Matt Murdock's identity is going to be exposed to the greater public.
Oh,
Because it just feels like he doesn't care, and now Fisk, knowing that he's gonna be after Vanessa, is gonna, with the knowledge of his identity, is gonna put Matt front and center as the anti-vigilantes task force's main occupation to get him out of the
do
pain.
you think
And then
Wilson will feel any debt to Matt for saving his life?
to a degree,
No.
I actually think like it goes back to the beginning of the season in that meeting that they had in the diner, like where he goes, it's not unpleasant to see you again. It's not totally unpleasant to see you again. This kind of like it's so funny. They hate each other so much, but there's kind of a kinship there to a degree.
Yeah.
Where
It's always interesting to me because like that's another trope of the comic book, right? Like the bad guy does figure out your identity. There's just always some fucking reason he's like, I'm gonna hold on to this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, oh man, like now that you've saved my life, that's the only reason I'm not gonna fucking blow your life up. But you know, whatever, and you go back and forth. But Daredevil has had his identity exposed several times in that comic. I don't think they can hit the reset button the way they do in the like. I don't think we're waiting for Mephisto to come up. You got the glasses, you got you got the magnifying glass or whatever.
yeah, it's a completely different type of terrain that we're on with this, as opposed to like you mentioned, magic or Fisk getting knocked on his head and he
How do you
forgets like
unring
Devil's
this
Reign.
bell?
Right. This is good. This will be interesting to see if they kind of pull this off, because clearly we are really in the Devil's Reign phase in terms of like you see in this episode at the ball. Fisk is talking to Jack Duquesne, aka Swordsman, and he's telling him like, yo, because like I said, Fisk now got the battery in his back after making up with Vanessa, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna handle all you corrupt
Dog,
folks
when he
too.
put his motherfucking hand on his shoulder like LeBron talking to Stephen A. Smith, that shit felt like something to me.
Oh man, he had old girl flustered where she was talking to Jack and she was like, I can't even talk right now. I gotta go.
I
Like
can't find my husband. I don't know where he at. Bye. Like I'm glad I'm glad Wilson back. That's the other thing too. Like I didn't mind the Mr. and Mrs. Fisk, like all the little relationship shit they were doing and all that. That was fine with me. But it only is fine if we get back to I'm actually a piece of shit. Like like I don't like this half in, half out bullshit where he's like, I'm also the mayor. And nah, man, like go do some gangster shit in the mayor's office. That's what Eric Adams would do. That's what Trump would do. Value loyalty over competence. That's like you are standing here for a reason. And now we finally got evil Mayor Fisk.
I wish they did the full Eric Adams experience and had him smoking hookah on Steinway, though.
They need a video of him saying, looking for guns in people's houses.
Look behind the picture frame. What can you find? You found bullets.
He's
and a backpack. You can
club.
secrete drugs. Sorry.
He's already out of the club every other episode. I mean, just complete the set.
But I will say, I think that so a couple things I really like about him balancing the mayor stuff, because I think the thing that makes this interesting is that he's not just being the gangster, he's also being the mayor. That we have the scene in his office where he promotes Daniel which, you know, once again, I think is like, this is how the bad people of the world, like, they promote low level people that have a more loyalty to them than anything else. Like, that's what he's
Yes.
looking for. I do also appreciate that in that scene you see a fake headline that says "Stop and Frisk." Sorry, "Stop and
Yeah.
Fisk." Stop
Yeah.
and Fisk,
Yeah.
which is
That
great.
was
Yeah.
good.
The way that he is using, that he's finally like synthesizing both, that he is using the mayor's office to, you know, to further. He's like, oh wait, I can actually just cut through the red tape if I use the same tactics I used when I was a gangster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think what I equally loved about the scene with him and Jack is Jack didn't back down. Like he was like, okay, we could do this if you want, but he's got to be a little bit more cagey about it now because he wasn't expecting old Willie to come with that heat.
I wouldn't be
So
surprised if Jack give the money to the foundation. I don't know. Jack felt a little overwhelmed to me, man. I don't know if he came out of there
he
ready
didn't
to.
see that. Yeah, he was he was a little surprised.
Yeah,
He
he looked
thought
a
after
little
that last,
taken aback, dog. When
he
he
was like,
said,
oh.
or should I say swordsman? And Jack had that look on his face like, hold up now. Hold up. Maybe I don't want my family to die for this shit, you know? And I
Mhm.
also love that Vanessa is so in love with him now. Like she got moist for this man being back at his gangster shit. Like she ain't like all this restrained mayor shit that she didn't understand. But with him being like, oh nah, I'm ready to pop back out on these motherfuckers, she was like, okay, finally, let's go dancing. Let's make room. When she tells Heather like, we ain't gonna need your services no more, boo boo. We good over here, okay? We decided to be evil together, so don't you worry about whatever the fee is. Like I love that shit, man.
I mean, I think the great part about it is this is the man who she fell in love with in the first place. Like that,
Yeah,
which is kind of in its own way just an
yeah.
interesting look at
Because
her and
remember,
what she
in the first
desires.
series, a lot of his struggle was he thought he was keeping shit from her. Like
Well,
I'm gonna
he didn't want to show her the
right.
real him, and she's like, "Yo, I want to see it."
I'm in. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I'm 10 toes down. Like, why you tell me you was into this shit earlier? So like seeing that struggle this season, and then it actually being him, like her killing Adam, and then him being like, I'm ready to ride on these fools, and then them being like, oh my god, we're back. Like that felt so good to me. It felt earned.
right, and that's why I felt like with the whole Matt and Vanessa thing. If you go back to season 2, Matt visits Fisk in the jail, and he mentions Vanessa a
Yeah.
couple of times, and Fisk loses it and
Yep.
fucks him up in the jail.
Yep.
And this is just a reminder, like if you, this is like the no fly zone, and this
Yeah.
is going to be a situation where that's where I feel like you could see, even though Matt did save his life,
Mm-hmm.
you can see Fisk ready to expose his identity because it twofold. It gets Matt off of his case for like a little bit generally because he has more bigger fish to fry as far as that's
Right.
concerned. And then B, he's protecting his lady at the end of the day.
Well,
That's what he's
here's my
going to
question
do.
to y'all though. Does
Hmm.
does Vanessa going behind his back to kill Foggy cause issues? Like, is that a thing where he had like, yo, we were supposed to be good. You're not telling me everything. I'm getting surprised. I almost got fucking killed tonight because you're still keeping secrets of shady shit that you did, knowing this dude is gonna out to get us. Because I could see like a lot of their relationship problems have been through these very criminal allegories, right? These like criminal conspiracies, and
Hmm.
instead of it, like Adam's the most cliche thing with the affair, but the real underlying issues
Yeah.
are shit like when I was being a gangster boo, you was out here trying to like be mayor. What the fuck? So like I do wonder if this causes a trust issue or setback in their happiness to be like, yo, why didn't you tell me about this?
By the way, rest in peace to Gangsta Boo.
Rest in peace.
Rest in
Rest in
peace,
power,
legend.
queen.
At the minimum, a conversation a conversation should take place about what happened. I think that reveal of Vanessa being the one behind it, just it's an incredible reveal, and it kind of shifts what we can look at going into the finale and what's prioritized amongst Matt. And I'm gonna guess with this news, we're probably going to see Karen again soon,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get back to some of the stuff that Teej wanted to see, because he misses Karen, and he misses Foggy. Unfortunately, Foggy not coming back. I'm assuming, but
Well, I saw some
uh,
rumors that he's coming back, but I won't
that's
address
something with
those.
the streets have said
Mm-hmm.
that the comic book has happened where Foggy has faked his death.
Yep.
So, and there's been some Easter eggs and some allusions to that,
And we know he's
as
in
far as
season
early as
two
this
as
season.
an actor at
It-
least,
he-
whether it's flashbacks or
yes, he
not.
is.
So
Yes, right.
yeah, it could happen, man. I don't put shit past Marvel. Now they got the MCU budget. I don't put shit past
Mhm.
Marvel.
So I mean, so we'll find out as far as that's concerned. So Teach, just kind of like generally overall, now that you've seen this episode, how are you feeling going into this finale?
Very, very much better. Like when it's time to click on episode 9, I'm not gonna have existential dread of why I'm wasting my time with it. Like I had a good time with episode 8, and I know that the new crew did 1, 8, and 9, and I enjoyed 1. I enjoyed 8, so I'm expecting a good finale. And even when we were kind of in the mess of it, I still thought that season 2 had the capacity to be good, and I was still, even if they didn't crush it with 8 and 9. I was still going to tap in for season 2 just to see if there's any chance that they could, salvage it, knowing the production history and how hard that would be to put together 2 shows basically. But I had a great time with 8, so I'm definitely excited for the finale. And I never thought that they could make me excited for the finale of this show as much as I've hated it. So I appreciate them for episode 8, and I'll definitely be tapped in for episode 9.
Yes, very high octane stuff going on.
Mhm.
I did want to mention, as far because BB was mentioned earlier.
I love
BB,
this bit. I thought that this was really great. Sorry, if you keep going.
I also
no,
like
no, no.
that.
Well, before you continue, I'll throw it to you. But BB in league with the commissioner to try and take down Fisk, and now finally getting the reveal that BB has probably suspected all along that Fisk killed her uncle, and now she wants to work with the commissioner in order to take him down, and that's gonna be fascinating. As you have the whole thing going on with Blake, so there's gonna be a conflict of interest there, because Blake, despite his evil ways, he views her as a friend. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be at least something that they could play on going forward into the next season. But Jake, give me your thoughts on that.
I really liked it because I thought that, like, the show has a lot of characters, so I don't think I'm never someone who's like disappointed that the 9th person on the call sheet doesn't get a fully rounded service character. Like, I think that that's just a ludicrous thing to expect in this age of non-television television. Now, in shows that are made like television, like, I don't know, Max is the Pit, that you can have like 20 characters that have full arcs. But I was really excited that they gave her more agency, because the entire time I'm like, okay, so she is the niece of like the dogged journalist who like is like the paragon of good in the first season of Daredevil, played by the brilliant Vonnie Curtis Hall, who I once saw in an elevator at NYU. And I'm just like, she seems like an idiot though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she seems like she's just doing puff pieces. Like, really? Like, this kind of feels like disrespectful to her uncle. Like, why?
Right.
And so the fact that it's like, oh no, she's like, that she suspects this all along. I like that, because it does, like, it did kind of feel unfair to make it BB as opposed to just a random journalist. It's like, why are you even bringing him up if she's just gonna, be a stenographer for Fisk? I like those, because I also think too that I don't think she realizes how far Blake is willing to go,
Yeah.
because like Blake is willing to really get his hands dirty in a way.
I could
and
see him get murderous at some point.
She thinks that he's someone who like she'll eventually be able to rely on when she like but like she's read it all wrong, and I'm sad for her, but I'm excited to see how that happens.
Yes, that's a nice plot thread that I hope that they keep pulling on and seeing where that goes, because we get to the journalism aspect, and then we also get to that commissioner who's kind of just Fisk has just been punking him all season. So at some point he probably feels like, because he goes to the anti-vigilante task force guys, and they poor old dude's hand, they put old dude's hand in the fryer. He burned his hand, and
In his
it just
face.
in his face. And the cop goes Hey man, that wasn't assault, but this is.
Yeah, dog, that's
Like it was a Saturday
crazy.
Night Live joke or some shit.
That was
Oh
crazy as
man.
fuck, bro. I like I'm similarly I actually felt like BB's character to me just did not make sense. And her relationship with the James Gandolfini's son just made no fucking sense to me. I was like, y'all party together, but also like this motherfucker threatened you, but also like you're kind of cordial with them. But I thought they did a good job with, with that scene between her and the commissioner of really, once again, like I said, you put the threads out there to be frustrating, so you really didn't. So that I'm like, oh, that's where that was going. Because I had more respect for her character coming out of this episode than I've had
Yeah.
for any of the episodes going in, because it just felt like she was all over the place. And when she's like, I don't write every article under my name, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so the heart, so she really is doing some like Ben Aldrich type shit. We just not seeing it on screen, and who knows? Once again, this at 13 episodes, maybe you get more with that. Because I feel like Ben Ulrich is a character you get more of when you have 13 episodes. Like
Yeah.
when you have
Yeah.
if Daredevil on Netflix had 9, they probably cut this shit to smithereens. But
Mm-hmm.
it really mattered, like his whole arc and even how he died and stuff. And it was cool to see that like matter here.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like when the commissioner's like, how Ben died, and she's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, she not dumb. All right, cool, let's
Mhm.
go.
Yeah, she on game. So that's gonna be a fun thing to see. And I just think generally, you mentioned you mentioned the 13 episode to 9 episode change, and I've always wondered because when I watch those Netflix shows, I think the biggest thing that I would say as a critique to them, more
Mm-hmm.
so than anything else, I felt like the 13 episodes, what you would end up happening is you would find yourself in a situation where I would say by like episode 8 or 9, where
Mm-hmm.
they would just use a episode to kind of throw away things because they had the time,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't, things wouldn't advance. That was probably
right.
my biggest
Yeah.
issue with the Netflix Marvel
I
stuff,
agree.
more so
I
than
think
anything
people
else.
definitely felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until Teej tonight that I've ever really heard anybody truly like love those shows. Like, cause I loved them when they were happening, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember like a few seasons in, people were like, "Why is it so boring? Nothing happens." And I'm like, character work is a thing that
Yeah.
the things have coming up multiple times. Is how life happens. That's life isn't like one conversation move the plot along. Like sometimes it's like, Karen, don't go kill this motherfucker. She's like, I don't know, I got a gun, Matt. We're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of enjoyed that stuff about that, and I feel like now that you've gotten the opposite, right? Like now that we're getting
Yeah.
9 instead of 13, when there are critiques to be had of this show, I feel like most of them are the cutting room floor type, where it's like they probably had something more with Muse. We're not gonna get to see it, and it's gonna feel disjointed because Muse was truly a character where it's like every time he's brought up, we need to be moving a plot forward, not working on his character, not working with the actor. Like everything needs to be like in service to how do we get from point A to point B, and that feels mad different to me.
And I think it's funny that you mentioned that because I think another character who I think a lot of people looked at this season is like, what's the point? Is Kirsten, and
Mm-hmm.
this is an episode where her and Matt I feel like have a substantial conversation, like the real first substantial conversation, non-surface level conversation about their work and and everything that goes along with that. I thought it was fun. I think it's funny that Matt again and kind of like losing himself. It's like you do have a job, bro. Like you do have some work to do. And I realize it's a piece of shit you defending.
Yeah.
Even though he got a great quote off in the whole like we're babysitting
Mm-hmm.
chaos and stuff like that.
Buddy
It's a
really
good
he
quote.
used his super hearing for that shit, bro. That was fucked up. Like you at work, man. That's a paycheck, man. You fucking up the fucking bottom line with that bullshit. You know these motherfuckers guilty,
Mm-hmm.
Matt. Don't come on now.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think you have another scene like that, and I wonder if they like with what happens to Matt, how will they use Kirsten going forward? Is that something that Is that something that they're going to spend time on? The same thing, people have said the same thing about Cherry too.
They're gonna have to
And
give
this is
those black
where,
people something to do in season 2. Like
Yes.
it is, like those people literally only come on screen to talk to Matt and bother him, and then leave the screen.
Yes.
Like it is nasty what they're doing. And I understand
Yeah.
this season was a bit chopped, but like next season, if they're going to still be there, give them something to do because oh my god, they serve no purpose on the show whatsoever.
Well, it
Like we
works
all
in
know that
service.
Matt's going crazy. Like
It works in service to the feeling of like uncut gems. Like it works in that where like there's so many elements in Matt's life that are like you are fucking up. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but yeah, as far as character work, like building something for them as people that exist when Matt's not around it's pretty much non-existent. You know, I think we saw one scene where Cherry and her have a conversation, and the conversation is about Matt. You know, like so like this is
Yes.
not like Daredevil, the what 29 episode opus or whatever. Like this is not where Foggy and Karen are exploring, like, do we have a relationship? Okay, no, we're friends. Okay, boom. We're doing shit outside of Matt. We're having our own like arcs. Like none of that happens on this show. Like everybody is just here to be like, Matt, you probably should stop being Daredevil and it will solve all your problems. He's like, I don't know. I'm gonna keep fighting people.
keep
But
doing
what if I
I'm
just
doing.
what if I just like Daredevil a little bit harder? I think maybe I'll get through a wall.
Okay, look, man, I'm gonna take one drink. All right, like
Mhm.
just I can just have one. I don't have to get drunk. And next thing you know, he's fighting a motherfucker in the subway,
Mhm.
rage yelling and beating up cops and shit.
Mhm.
He attacking Muse in the middle of the day, and I realize it's to save his lady, but he's shooting the grappler hook through the old boy's shoulder and shit. That got
Hey,
the
low
blood.
key, you
spurting.
know what the funniest shit was on this series to me?
Yeah.
When he
Talk
knocks
to me.
out the one cop who's not a dirty cop. He just came back from lunch
Mhm.
early or whatever. And even Matt
Mhm.
looked like, well, shit. That my bad.
Mhm.
Oh my god. Oh man is awesome. Matt's been on some crazy time.
Shout out
That's
to the
why I just,
writers, because the writers could have
yeah.
made that guy a dirty cop to justify, but they just let him be a regular guy who's just like, hey, I think we left something in the booth.
I remember early on, I think after like 2 episodes, someone asked like, "Who would you rather have to fight, Daredevil or Batman?" And someone was like, "Batman, you know, he's trying to do justice. He has a code of her. Matt has issues. Like
Yeah.
you, Daredevil, like Batman, like yeah, obviously he has some trauma or whatever, and he's been known.
Right.
But like, if you're just like a random goon, he's just gonna do enough to knock you out.
Matt seems like he stopped hitting you when he not mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like Batman seemed like he stopped fucking you up when you can't do nothing else. He's like, I already broke his arm. That he's done. Matt feel like, nah, man. I also got some trauma from my childhood. I gotta work this. My girl won't talk to me in the fucking shower, bitch.
Did you not hear blind orphan? I have a lot of stuff to work out.
Oh man.
He's beating your ass, bringing up shit from earlier in the show. You know, he's like, hey,
Yo,
why
Karen
does the
doesn't
justice system
talk to me.
Yeah, Bunny for bail is wrong. That shit is fucked up. You like, stop, please. I just stole a candy bar.
I do appreciate. I'm glad that he brought up to Kirsten that Carmel Corn story. At least it had a little bit of an impact on him from earlier in the season.
Wake up, sister.
Are we going to do anything with the storyline of the police that killed White Tiger literally wearing like Punisher merch that they maybe purchased like from Marvel.com?
That is episode 9, I would think. I think Frank is coming back for them folks.
Right. I keep seeing like the promos on YouTube that Marvel puts out, and Frank is in them promos.
Yeah, Frank.
Like, he coming back.
This is the next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he got to kill them.
We need some Frank energy. We need the Punisher is my goat.
Yes.
We need the Punisher back.
I low key kind of hope that Matt is laid up for a minute and Frank just take the shit into his own hands. Like, so I cleaned up them cops for you. I know you never would admit that you would like me to do this.
They definitely and they also set those, especially the one, they set up the cops to be like so unsympathetic that Frank could really do anything to them. Like they could get thrown into and
I hate the black cop dude that is like the head of the cop guys or whatever, because in the comic that character is actually kind of cool. Cole, like where he's like an anti-corruption cop, and so the cops hate him and Daredevil hates him. And he hates Daredevil because Daredevil's a vigilante, which is breaking the law, which is how he feels about dirty cops and shit. But like, they ain't do none of that in this motherfucker. He's just like, yeah, I'm dirty. I shot a motherfucker for no reason. What's going on? Can I be the manager? Like, bam.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it. That's yeah. Next week should be fun. If anything, actually, let's go around the room. Teach, what is the one thing that you want to see happen in the
I
season
want to see
finale?
Daredevil. I want to see Punisher return. We need to pay that off. He only got one scene, that was at a time where the show really needed a boost of energy. But I really need him to go establish what he's going to do in season two, because he's going to be in season two. So, like, what does that look like? What is that? We need to get some closure on that part of the character. So, the one thing that I really want is Punisher to come back. But I will say, like, we have to do something with the white tie. If you're gonna have a Latino man get gunned down unceremoniously in front of us, like, you have to at least do something to pay that off. So we should at least get to the maybe the niece is going to be the new White Tiger, but we need to do something with that. We got to close that loop somehow.
Now, in your version of the show, she's 6 years old, so that might be difficult. But
Yeah. She might join the Young Avengers or whatever they're trying to do.
The Pee Wee Avengers,
The
Little League Avengers. Little Avengers.
Lil Avengers.
Little Avengers.
That's it. That's it. There we go.
That's great. That's great. And I think to your point, Tej, like with the Punisher stuff, I mean, we got the special presentation film in this summer, so that should be fun too. They said will be airing, I think, in conjunction with the season 2 of Born Again. So you'll be seeing plenty of Frank next year. So that should be very exciting. And Jake, how about you? What's something that you want to see in the season finale?
I mean, there are a lot of things, but the thing I'm interested in seeing is clearly there is an imbalance in the Fisk-Vanessa relationship where Vanessa loves seeing Fisk be a gangster, and he doesn't know how to feel about her being independent and a gangster. And so I don't think that he's going to be like, good job getting Foggy. Now, there's going to be some hang-up he has, both from like, there'll probably some technical reason why that was a mistake, but also emotionally, I don't know how he's going to feel about that. And so I think you don't have them like come together so perfectly in this episode if you don't plan on some type of betrayal in episode 9. And so again, I'm excited for more stuff, but I know other people say the other stuff. That is the thing I'm very interested in seeing. Like, he's not just going to be like, that was a great idea to kill Mr. Franklin Finelson. Like, he's not.
Yeah, it's definitely going to cause a rift in their relationship. I think that's where we're headed. Another rift.
Because the thing is, he's insecure about it. Like, she loves when he's powerful, and he very clearly does not love when she's powerful.
Yep.
No, that's been an ongoing thread, and I'm looking forward to seeing that continue. Rod, what about you? What is something or some things you want to see?
You sounded like Fisk just now.
My voice just went up.
Really sounded like Fisk by mistake. That's crazy.
Didn't he? I was like, is he doing an impression? Damn, that's good. I didn't know he had that in him.
Part of us I wasn't.
The phlegm.
I had a Stu Gatz moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was up there with I'm trying to think of the LeVar Ball moment. Sorry.
Or I'm with Lewis with this Eddie Lebatard show stuff. Oh my god.
You guys
go ahead, Rod. My bad.
You guys have brought up most of the stuff I'm looking forward to. I'd love to see Punisher return like Luca to Dallas tonight. And just drop 31 bodies in the first half for us to be like, yeah, he back. I want to see how long Matt's laid up. If we get like a time skip, or is he just like fighting with a fucking bullet in his shoulder and a tuxedo? Because he seemed that crazy last time we saw Matt. He seemed crazy enough that if he would have got up and been like, bullseye, I would have been like, motherfucker, you supposed to be blind. What are you doing?
By the way, I forgot to mention a thing. Sorry, I forgot that this was the whole thing was a sly reference. It felt like the opposite Donald Sterling White Party, where everyone was dressed in black except for Fisk, which I loved. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. I also kind of low key got a hunch that it would be nice to see Matt lose everything to end the season.
Yeah.
Because he has so many people. Like, it just feels like no lessons learned, and it's not really an addiction. If he somehow walks out of this and he's still intact, then it doesn't feel right. Like, him unraveling enough to tell Heather, like, don't trust Fisk, and how can you work for Fisk? And she doesn't have any backstory, which makes him just sound like a fucking crazy man.
Yeah, he sounds unhinged.
Yes. Yeah. Like, she should break up with him. She has more than enough reasons to break up with him now. His job, like Kirsten, she has more than enough reasons to be like, Matt, I don't want to be in a fucking law firm with you. Cherry, more than enough reason to be like, bro, I've been telling you the whole fucking time, don't go do this shit, and you still doing it. Like, I'd like to see him at rock bottom, and
Yeah.
if Fisk outs his identity, that's like a cherry on top. But I don't even think you have to do that to make his life, like the consequences of his actions, basically make him be just like Matt, down to just the bare bones Daredevil. And if they do that, I feel like it gives you a really good season 2. Here comes Karen and the people we actually do want to see. Like it would feel like, yeah, it makes sense that he's going back to that, because this new life was never Matt. Like this when he said it feels fake, that felt real. I was like, yes, because it is fake, Matt. You're not supposed to be doing good, bro. You supposed to be laid up 4 to 5 days a week healing off of getting your ass whooped and still going out every weekend to get your ass whooped again. That's the Daredevil I know. This motherfucker with a steady job, I don't know him.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Truly, though, I'll
so
say this:
well
as
said.
someone who
Yes.
briefly worked at an expensive law firm, I can tell you, his ass is getting like thought out. There's no way. You know, being a lawyer, you know what all it is? It's hours. Literally, doing the job is the whole point of being there.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock's I actually had to enter billable hours for a couple partners for a little bit. His billable hours are going to be fucking abysmal. He is not bringing in the hours he needs to. He could get bought the fuck out.
And it feel like that period of time that we skipped after Foggy's death, he probably was banking in the hours as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But of course, the story picks up when he started being like, maybe I should be Daredevil again. Yeah, he's made several fireable offenses already.
Yeah, he's putting like 2 billable hours a day. It's like,
Yeah,
Matt.
It's not happening, bro.
You can't do
he's
that.
doing shit like not charging the hours for that dude that he called a liar. Like, he's doing that kind of shit. Where it's like, oh, you're wasting hours now.
Mm-hmm. Although, by the way, I would tell you that technically speaking, if you were to charge hours, you'd round that up to 15 minutes. Just FYI, have the way that billing works. That's 15 minutes.
Yeah, got to.
I just love that we're talking lawyer stuff and we have a lawyer on the pod.
Well, you just gotta bill your time as Daredevil as well. That'll really help you make your hours. If you just run in the street, beating up, people that are dealing with whatever issues they may be dealing with, and just going around beating up mentally challenged people, and you bill that, then I think you really make your hours.
You know what, Teej? You just gave me a great idea for like a Christmas special. Let's just get into the weeds of his billable hours and what is he doing with those Daredevil minutes. Like, I'm low key okay with listening to counting episode of Daredevil.
Yeah, it's like, and this says that you the services you offered were 3 punches to the head and a roundhouse kick. You said that took 15 minutes, Mr. Murdock.
I mean,
so you're billing us for stopping a bank robbery? That doesn't seem. Doesn't seem like
we hired you for a corporate merger.
I mean, shit. To be honest with you, like, we talking about special presentations for Daredevil. As I've always said, I always tweet it every time. So often, I will tweet you, Teej. I say, better call Teej. Let me tell you, that is a great show idea.
I would love to consult with the good folks at Daredevil and good folks at Marvel. My line is open if you need any consultations for the legal scenes. I will say, though, that the White Tiger trial I thought it was well done. One of the rare moments of the show, the morass of the show that I actually did enjoy. So they might already have somebody giving them good legal advice. But if you want another sounding board, I work for very cheap. So please call me Marvel. Thank you.
Yeah, billable hours.
Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Look at man. It's so funny. Anytime that I'll see Teej talking his lawyer stuff, and then people will start responding to him like, "Yo, there's no way you're gonna get me off. You're not gonna get me off."
Every time, the joke is always the same. It's, I hired Teej as my lawyer. I did the 10 days accounting for jaywalking. It's always funny.
That's never.
I also
not
feel
funny,
like
man.
if Teej was on the show, Teej would be encouraging Matt to do plot shit and not lawyer shit. Like, hey man, you ever thought about hanging out with Karen again? Because like, we don't care about these new people. Don't nobody know who these people are, man.
Exactly. It's like you just sit down. It's like, Matt, I don't want to take the wrong way, but I think it's time for you to get the meat out.
He did get the meat out on Heather. That's Heather's problem.
See, the thing about Teej, the reason why you're so great and such a
He
great
is
presence
great.
is because it's so rare that a real living person who's not famous and not a television character has catchphrases. Like, you have catchphrases.
I have to
God.
give the show credit too, because Heather's
Yes.
character makes total sense if you think somebody's just getting dick down. Like it's
Yeah.
like she don't make
Yeah.
no sense. She don't make no sense on paper, but if it's just like, I don't know, I've seen Matt, he's easy on the eyes. There's
And
something
you see
about
the
him in a
people
suit.
Matt's been with. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you
Y'all
saw
saw that
She-Hulk's
meme.
face the next day. You saw She-Hulk's face the next day. I mean,
Did you see that meme that going around? It's like he ain't blind. And
Yeah.
it's all the women. He out there touching wrists like Jamie Foxx is Ray.
Stevie ain't got nothing on Matt Murdock. Let me tell you, boy.
Listen.
But well, briefly before we go, let me give my my what I want to see next week, and I think as I've said, I love the Matt Murdock story, just his character. I do, to your point, Rod. I do want to see him lose everything, and I want him to get to the point where he's going to need other heroes to kind of step up for him, not just the Punisher. We talking about bringing the old Defenders gang back, the Luke Cages, the Jessica Joneses, and somebody
Fist.
else playing Iron
Finn.
Fist.
no.
Did you see
Finn
that
back.
story
Bring
of Finn
Finn
Jones? Finn is desperate. He
Justice
wants
for
that
Finn.
check so badly.
Hey man, listen, I know we don't have time, but hey, I gotta do it. That man Finn got done so dirty by Ike Perlmutter and the people that ran that show before that were doing
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Inhumans and shit. He got Ike Bob Iger. Yeah, he got fucked, bro. He don't actually need to know how to do karate. Like everybody was shitting on him, like he don't even know how to do karate. I'm like, the motherfucker playing Matt Murdock don't know how to do karate. That's just them being cheap with that production, man. That was fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yes, I think he's not that good at the character because he's super whiny, and I also think that like
Very
the
whiny.
white
Yeah.
guy who like learns kung fu and then like that becomes his thing is a bit overplayed. But I don't know. I think the solution is, and I know I've said a broken record about this, just bring back Colleen Wing. She was the good character from that show. And Jessica
she was
Henwick.
great.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying. Listen, you're not wrong, but that ain't justice for Finn.
No,
That's all I'm saying. Justice for him would be to get a fucking show that actually gave a fuck, and we really don't know what the fuck he could do. That shit felt so thrown together. It was like the CW version of them MCU shows at the time. That shit was whack, man. But once again,
yeah,
you know,
I didn't watch I didn't even watch the second season, and I'll watch anything, but I didn't watch.
Okay,
the
so
the whole second first. Wait, you didn't watch the second season? Isn't that when Colleen Wing is like the big? She's like steps up. That's when she's really. Like,
I know. I'm aware.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm just saying, second season, they did the show like, yeah, we didn't teach this dude kung fu, and that actually made the show better. Like he was in his own show as like the dude that they were like, yeah, but come on, man, I don't know why I want to see that.
AC, you were saying?
So I was saying I do have a report from the now departed Teej, as he says, I had to run. My boss is looking for me. LMAO.
Wow. Right.
So
better call Teej.
Better call Teej. Better call Teej. Salute to Teej for joining us this evening.
Someone's about to get 90 days for shoplifting right now. It's happening. Why don't you know the specifics of this case? I was talking about Daredevil.
No. He is please, bro.
Please, bros. Oh, man.
It's scary hours for my client.
Oh man! Shout out to Teach for joining us, and shout out to Rod for coming back on the pod once again, bro. Appreciate you for joining. As always, where can we find you, sir?
TheBlackGuyWhoTips.com, the Black Guy Who Tips on all of your podcast apparatuses.
Wonderful.
And apparently every Charlotte Hornets game.
He's out here.
Everyone but one this year. I'm a long-suffering real fan. So if y'all don't put some respect on our name, and let's get Cooper Flag. We need a white superstar to save this franchise.
Yeah, the Great White Hope still exists somewhere, even though he had a little bit of a rough weekend in the Final Four.
What was that? Oh, go Gators!
That was malpractice with that call, but also y'all hadn't hit a bucket in like 4 minutes. Like
I'm aware.
What y'all want?
It was crazy. It was one of the most insane endings to a game I've ever seen. And I was, it was a Monday, so like I wasn't gonna do anything big, but I went to a bar because I didn't want to sit in my house and watch it.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it was just like when the game ended, I had already closed out, and I'm like, I just gotta go. Like this is just such a crazy idea. I'm like, I just gotta go home. Like that's
You're,
just nuts.
you're a Florida fan, Jake?
Yeah, because I went to NYU, which I was at 70 Sports, and both my brothers went to UF, so I
Oh,
adopted them
okay.
as my team.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up in Florida as well.
I just hate Duke, so
Yeah.
that was beautiful. That was one of the best
Of course.
things that have ever happened to me. I didn't know I could still hate like that. I thought I was over
Mhm.
it, but much like Daredevil, I was letting out a primal scream in my living
Hell
room.
yeah.
Oh man, great stuff by you, Rod, and of course Jake. Where can we find you, sir?
You can follow me on Twitter at the Jake Christie. Follow me on Blue Sky at Jake Christie, and follow me on TikTok where I'm doing the Museum of Twitter every day at the Jake Christie. I'm like 2.5 weeks away from 300 episodes, which is stupid. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do for 300 because
It's not stupid.
I
That's
don't know what I'm
cool.
gonna do most days.
It's a milestone. Got to
Yeah,
It is a
do something
milestone.
congratulations,
nice.
man. Way to be consistent.
Like later
Yeah,
today, I'm
congratulations.
finally
Keep cooking.
doing Cocky Want Boing Boing, so watch out for that.
Oh my goodness,
I
gracious.
gotta.
I mean, technically speaking, yes, you do. It is a museum tweet. It's right up there. It's right up there. Goddamn. Goodness gracious. And for me, of course, you can follow me on Twitter at AnthonyCanton_3. Follow me on Blue Sky at AnthonyCanton3. And of course, follow the show on all platforms at MC University Pod and all of those things. From a programming standpoint, I realize we are getting very dangerously close to Thunderbolts. That's coming out soon,
Mhm.
and I'm very excited. Looking forward to be talking about that movie. Seems like we got some good things going on. So maybe we'll do something in a little bit of advance of the movie and talk about it a bit. But we have a whole bunch. We have the Daredevil finale. We got subscriber
Oh
mailbags,
wait, in New York
Patreons,
City,
and
people, if you are in New York City, KCBC,
oh yes,
Kings County's Brewer Collective, I'm gonna be there. Ace, you're gonna be there or no?
allegedly I may be there.
So on next Tuesday to watch the Daredevil finale, there's gonna be a cosplay contest. You can get their beer. It's a great place to hang out. Hunter
Yes.
will be there. I'll be there. Yeah. So just drop by if you're in New York. It's right off the L train. There's a place that has really good tacos around the corner.
Hey man, it doesn't hurt. Watch the Daredevil finale, which I think is going to be about an hour. This one, so it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, go check out Salute to Hunter and all the people over at KCBC Beer, and looking forward to all of that. And of course, like I said, YouTube, Patreon, all those things. Thank you for listening, watching, and supporting. So for Teej and Rod and Jake, I'm Anthony Canton III. This has been Marvel Cinematic University. We will talk to you next time.